On this?
So Eric is going to give the intro remarks. You're going to speak, and then we're going to jump over to Sanjay, Bob, Mike, Brian, and Brian.
Okay.
Remarks right here.
For me, but first, you're going, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
Perfect.
Oh my God. Pull me out of the way.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Saab's U.S. headquarters. I'm Eric Smith, President and CEO of Saab Inc. I want to thank you all for being here today to help us celebrate this huge win for our community. In particular, I'd like to thank Senator Schumer for his undying leadership and support and always fighting for New York State. We're incredibly proud here at Saab to be part of the growing aerospace and defense industrial base, and we couldn't be more fortunate than to have Syracuse be our home. I know we have a busy schedule today, so I'm going to just go ahead and turn it right over to the Senator. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And it's great to be here once again at Saab. As you know, this is a company that I've helped day in and day out. Many of the new things, the great radars and other systems that they are making here are because we've been able to get federal funds. And right now, the work of these men and women here is protecting the United States and helping Ukraine defend itself against aggression. So let's have a round of applause first for all the workers here. Our biggest one, the Gator system, we got over $304 million to go to this facility. That's a lot of money, that's a lot of jobs, and that's going to last for a long time, $304 million. But the Gator system is worth every penny of it. So thank you. And we got money for all digital radar technology, for the Syracuse 200 fire, and now we're working on getting the AEW system funded as well. So we keep having Saab grow, and it's very important to this community and to our country and our security. But I'm not here to talk about that. Here is what I am to say. This is an amazing, seminal turnaround day for Central New York and Upstate New York. I am thrilled to announce that the CHIPS and Science Act, which I authored, has just been designated, has made, well, the CHIPS and Science Act, I said it wrong. I'm thrilled to announce that thanks to the CHIPS and Science Act, which I authored, the Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse region had just been designated one of the first federal tech hubs in America, and we will transform the I-90 corridor into the semiconductor superhighway. Now, this was one of the most competitive awards in the country, and Upstate New York beat out hundreds of other applicants from the best universities, cities, and companies, and is now in an elite group. Only 31 of the 400 are designated as tech hubs in America. It's a once-in-a-generation title. Now that you have it, you keep it. And it's going to lead to all kinds of benefits for this community and for all of Upstate New York. There is no greater national spotlight, no greater open for business sign than this one, which says we're a tech hub and we are becoming the semiconductor superhighway. And I think, oh, there it is. There's my chart here. I like this. I'm going to hold it up. There. Is that great? I feel a little ownership of it, so I'm holding it up. Thank you. See it, everybody? You guys see it down there? Okay. A prime example is standing right next to me, someone we all now know in Central New York, and that is the great Sanjay, the CEO of Micron. Micron is building, as you know, the largest chip fab in all of America. It will employ over 50,000 people, and it will also create lots of ancillary jobs as subcontractors across upstate New York have to supply this facility with so many good things. Get to know Sanjay well, because we're going to need a lot of Syracuse workers to empower Micron. So everyone should get to know them, their families, etc. Tech Hub designations are meant to show where the federal government believes the next Silicon Valley could be. And I decided, instead of having Buffalo, Rochester, and Syracuse compete, they should link up together. And I want to thank our community here for understanding that. It's very, very important. And in fact, each area has strength. Of course, Syracuse, Central New York, the manufacturing hub. Rochester has some of the greatest research, and Buffalo has some of the greatest advanced manufacturing skills in the whole country. In fact, when MIT, two professors, non-biased, put together a study of what should be the next tech hubs in America, number one was Rochester, but number three of all the tech hubs in the country was Syracuse, and Buffalo was 15. So we have the goods. We have the goods. And what's happening now, it just killed me. I've said this over and over again, when Carrier left. And the head of that, I would use a curse word, I'm from Brooklyn, but the head of that blank company, UT, said no one wants to live in Syracuse anymore. That's what he said to me, which so bothered me. But I resolved that we were going to try to come back bigger and better than ever, and with Micron we sure have. Okay, so that is so, so important. Landing Micron is how we started rewriting the book of Central New York's future. And the stories we used to hear of parents saying goodbye to their college or high school graduates as they got on an airplane and went goodbye because they couldn't get a good job here even though they loved the life here is over. That's over. And that's a great thing for Central New York. Now, what exactly does the Tech Hub mean? There are 4 reasons this is a big, big deal. First, you are in an exclusive group of 31 to compete for major funding. 6 to 10 of these groups will get about $75 million in the spring. Having the majority leader is pretty good. I think we have a damn good chance of getting it. Okay? But we also win on the merits. We have plenty of water. A lot of these tech companies that are looking to locate in Arizona and Texas are short of water. We have plenty of water with the Great Lakes, Lake Ontario, Finger Lakes, etc. We have cheap power because of NYPA. We have a great manufacturing base. As Sanjay learned, we have shovel-ready sites, and then we have the majority leader. You put all that together, and it's a pretty good combination to get these things going. So there will be 5 to 10 of the 31 will get about $75 million. The others will get less. But that's just the beginning. There's $10 billion in this program. And once you win an initial grant in the first year, you get more and more and more in later years. Second, the designation on its own, even if we didn't get another nickel, would mean 2 big things. First, it would mean that tech companies will now look at Central New York and at Rochester and at Buffalo. In the old days, they wouldn't, and the story is well known. I had to beg and plead Mr. Sanjay Mehrotra to just come visit White Pine, to just come look at it. He didn't want to come. Syracuse, that's not a place for tech. But I knew if once he came and saw it, he would see the benefit, because he's a very smart, perceptive man, and that's what happened. But now, you don't need Chuck Schumer to beg corporate CEOs to look at our area. The federal government has said this is one of the best places for tech and semiconductors to invest. So that's the second thing. Third, it tells the federal government, other agencies, when a tech company's here, you got to go all out for it. That means the Department of Transportation, the Department of Environmental Protection, the Department of Economic Development, you name it. They're going to have to pay real attention as well. And finally, it means companies, as I said, really it's the second way to say it, companies are going to look here. So that's really important in every way, why this is important for us. Now, The bottom line is very simple. We are going to become, I-90 is going to become the semiconductor superhighway of America. And it's not just Micron that's locating here. As you know, over in Utica, there's Wolfspeed. Over in the Hudson Valley, there's onsemi. Global Foundries, which makes a different type of chip, is doubling its size of plant north of Albany in Saratoga County. But not only do we attract the tech companies themselves, the semiconductor, the tech fabs themselves, there are all these ancillary companies, the supply chain. So because Micron located here, Edwards, which is one of the leading packaging companies. Packaging means how you put all those little chips on one big wafer. They're the largest company in the world. They were located in England. They are located in England. But because we said all of this has to be made in America, that was one of the best things we did in this bill, said make it in America. Edwards just announced a 600-person plant. They're building it now already in Batavia to do packaging. And all sorts of other companies are coming. Micron is helping Landy, a big, they make all kind of, what do they make, gases? What do you call it? Yeah. Gases that they need. And Landy is growing in Buffalo. So this is helping all of upstate New York, this major, major plant. So the bottom line is simple, and that is that today is an amazing, oh, and one other thing it's going to do. We have great universities here. SU, Onondaga Community College, Cornell. SU and Cornell, which do high-end research, are going to get lots of funding to do that. But all of these schools, they're going to turn out engineers, but a place like OCC is going to train workers, they don't need a college degree, who can work in high-end manufacturing and get good paying jobs here. So our colleges are going to benefit dramatically as well. So everywhere you look, up and down on the central New York economy, today's designation is huge, huge. And I am pledged to continue to do everything I can, as I have in the past, to get central New York all the help it needs so that, again, the future is going to be even brighter than the past. And I'm confident because of the workforce, because of the natural resources, and because we've all worked together on this, the best days for central New York are yet to come. Thank you. Now, we have a bunch of speakers and then other people who are here, and I'd like to acknowledge all the folks who are here. Hold on, it says see list. Good. Okay. Well, wait. Where's? Hold on. Here we go. Okay. Speaking after me will, of course, be Sanjay. Then we'll have Rob Simpson from Center State, Mike Haney from SU, and our we've had great bipartisan cooperation. Ryan's a Republican, I'm a Democrat. It never got in the way of our cooperation. Ryan McMahon, who really had the foresight to get White Pines shovel ready long before Micron was a gleam in our eye. There you are. And our great Mayor Walsh, who works so well with us. They will conclude in the speaking. Also here is Sharon Owens, the Deputy Mayor of Syracuse, Kathy Gridley, Executive Vice President and President of Aerospace at TTM, another new company. I mean, our companies are growing. JMA, because we said made in America, and they make the only, I get so excited about this stuff, they make the only 5G stuff made in America is booming. Because they're the only ones who made 5G in America. It all used to be made in China or somewhere else. Okay, anyway, Greg Lancet of the Central and Northern Building and Construction Trades Council. Where's my friend Greg? Is he here? Yeah, there you are. I saw you before. He's going to have a lot of people working. They're going to start complaining that they have too much overtime. No, they won't. Okay, we have Warren Hilton of OCC. I want to say this, Tim Kennedy is the publisher, it says regional president of Advance. This guy has been such a cheerleader for Syracuse, always calling me, nothing to do even when they're writing a story. How's it going? What can we do? What should we editorialize on? He's a great leader, and he helps pull Syracuse together, because luckily we still have a newspaper that's functioning very well in terms of the Post-Standard. We have Joel Molina from Cornell, John Mannion, my friend, the state senator in the 50th District, Kevin Meeker, who is a counselor in the town of Clay. So with that, I think I've introduced, have I left anybody out, folks? Nope? Okay. So let me introduce the man who is going to be with us for decades to come, and that is Sanjay Malhotra.
Thank you, Leader Schumer, and good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Micron's 43,000 worldwide employees, it truly is an honor and privilege for me to be here today on this very special day with the Buffalo, Rochester, and Syracuse region becoming a tech hub, national tech hub of the future. It was a year ago that Majority Leader Schumer, Governor Hochul, and I announced the largest semiconductor facility ever to be built in the United States, an investment in the heart of New York here. With expected grants from the CHIPS and Science Act, Micron plans to invest over $100 billion over the next 2 decades, building a mega fab semiconductor memory manufacturing complex that will employ 50,000 good-paying New York jobs right here over the course of next 20+ years. The semiconductors that Micron builds, the memory chips, handle the information that is critically important for all compute systems and is really the heart of AI engines of the future. These fabs that will be built here in Syracuse, 4 large fabs, each of these fabs will be size of 10 football fields, will be critical part of Micron's global manufacturing network, creating leading-edge chips for the most advanced applications worldwide. And of course, the chips we make here will be sold all over the world. They'll be the most advanced memory chips produced anywhere in the world.
Instead of America importing manufacturing, America's exporting manufacturing. It's about time.
We are doing what many thought impossible just a few years ago. Over the last 30 years, foreign countries have made significant investments that incentivized semiconductor manufacturing on their shores. US sites were simply unable to compete effectively against these incentives, and manufacturing steadily moved overseas over the course of last several years. The CHIPS Act promises to make the US, and New York here specifically, a competitive hub for leading-edge semiconductor manufacturing. This bill and what we are achieving because of it has the potential to revive America's technology manufacturing leadership. We are grateful to President Biden and Secretary Raimondo for their vision and leadership of CHIPS. And it is Leader Schumer that really helped ensure CHIPS becomes a reality. He was a fierce advocate for the CHIPS Act, and certainly fierce advocate to me and to all of Micron for the state of New York as well. I must also thank Governor Kathy Hochul, whose steadfast vision and belief in this project led her to pass green chips legislation. And we would not have been able to do this project without the green chips legislation. I'm really today very excited to see this region become a tech hub. We anticipated that our $100 billion investment would help inspire other technology leaders to choose New York. In fact, we see the opportunity for a 300-mile tech corridor stretching from Buffalo to Hudson Valley and even to New York City. Earlier today, I have firsthand seen the impact Micron's investment in central New York has brought to the entire region. As a result of CHIPS and Science Act and green chips, Micron's $100 billion investment will catalyze and give economic and technology innovation across New York that starts right here in Onondaga County. Micron has enjoyed partnering with many in the community, including Majority Leader Schumer, Governor Hochul, County Executive McMahon, Syracuse Mayor Ben Walsh, Center State CEO Rob Simpson, Syracuse University, Onondaga Community College, and many other stakeholders here today. We are proud that Central New York has been designated as a tech hub and will play a role in advanced memory semiconductor manufacturing, which will start, grow, and remain in this region. And Micron will have inclusive hiring, bringing out groups that are underrepresented in technology ecosystem and leveraging the community here to really build world's best class manufacturing ecosystem here. Central New York will play a pivotal role in transforming Micron's total global output of memory manufactured in the US from 10% today to 60% as we make progress over the 20-year time period with this project. Just keep in mind, what does that mean? It means that only 2% of the world's memory is produced today in the US, and that will change to about 15% of the world's total memory being produced right here in the US. So really an exciting opportunity. And Micron's investment is already driving innovation and partnerships to grow our workforce and the supply ecosystem. This Tech Hub designation is another example. Last week, Micron was here to unveil our $5 million investment in Onondaga Community College Clean Room. Here, and we heard from the Community Engagement Committee and met with suppliers like Inficon, an important part of the semiconductor ecosystem. My team tells me that the clean room that is planned at the Onondaga Community College is beautiful, is going to train many going through that clean room who will get well-paying apprentice jobs, technician jobs, engineering jobs at Micron in the future. We look forward to growing with other businesses like Saab to achieve economic and national security goals envisioned by the CHIPS and Science Act, and I'm proud to stand alongside the community here in Central New York, celebrating another important milestone today. We see significant growth ahead for memory, driven by artificial intelligence, advanced automotive safety features, trend towards smart factories, smart cities, smart devices, smart everything. Every compute platform will need more and more memory. AI applications like ChatGPT are making data even more valuable, creating tremendous new opportunity that will accelerate memory demand in the future. This vision, this growth, this new manufacturing leadership will be centered right here in New York. Proper funding from CHIPS and Science Act is what will make it possible. Thanks again to Senator Schumer for inviting me here today and for his tireless work advocating to bring tech manufacturing to New York. With the support of the CHIPS and Science Act, we have once in a generation opportunity to strengthen the nation's semiconductor ecosystem. I look forward to building the future of American manufacturing with you all. Thank you.
Before I call on our next speaker, 2 points that I wanted to make. One is, Sanjay alluded to it. So Micron makes memory chips. The other 3 big companies that are building chip fabs in America don't. They make logic chips. Logic chips are very important, but the memory chips are going to just boom because all of AI uses memory chips, including GPT. So we have the only memory chip big plant being built in America, and that's going to really help the future here. Second, on the tech hubs. I didn't make this point at my previous stop, and I should have. So I represent a big state, New York City, but also upstate. And all the big tech jobs were going just to a few places on the coasts, New York City, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Seattle. And I determined, along with Todd Young, he's a Republican senator, this was all done bipartisan from Indiana, that the rest of the country has so much talent, but they won't benefit unless we sort of push things in that direction. That's how we created tech hubs. And when I created the tech hub program, guess who I had in mind? Syracuse, Buffalo, Rochester. Cities with enormous talent, but no one was going to pay attention to them unless we forced the federal government to pay some attention. Of course, Sanjay was several steps ahead, and that has helped us as well. So those are the 2 points I wanted to make. Next speaker is Rob Simpson from Center State, wherever we go. There we go. He's hard to miss.
True story. While I grew up here in upstate New York, I started my career in Washington, D.C., and after 7 years made a choice to move back home. The reason why I chose to move back home, one, we missed it up here, and two, because after 7 years of working on Capitol Hill, no speech I ever wrote changed anyone's mind, no bill I ever drafted got signed into law. And all I can say today is thank goodness that Senator Schumer didn't quit as easy as I did, because this man fights and fights and fights all day long. Sneaky too. He fights and fights for our communities in upstate New York. And he's not kidding when he said he wrote this bill with Senator Young. This is his brainchild that he's been working on for nearly a decade. So please thank Senator Schumer on all of upstate New York's behalf.
Thank you.
Two, our partners behind me, all of them, our partners in higher education, our partners in business, they all understand something very important. We've been working on this together as a community for quite a long time. And when we collaborate, really positive things happen in our community. What is so exciting about the Tech Hub's opportunity is that we're taking that same mindset of collaboration and partnering with Rochester and with Ithaca and with Buffalo. And together we are being reminded that when we work together, we win. Third, Sanjay, you have helped pour fuel on the fire and the passion that this community has for putting itself back on the map. And there is no doubt, announcement after announcement after announcement, that upstate New York is back on the front pages, relevant to the global economy once again. And that is an incredible place to be. In fact, it feels almost a little poetic, so I will close with a quote from the most famous poet of all. There is a tide in the affairs of men that when taken at the flood leads on to fortune. Today we are on such a tide. Thank you all very much.
Who's the poet? Shakespeare, of course. Okay. And next we have Mike Kane from Syracuse, SU.
So, Senator, I don't have Shakespeare for you. I will commend you on the color of that tie, though, that you wore today.
And New York State colors, too.
Yeah, beautiful. But, Senator, on behalf of our community, I want to add Syracuse University's voice to the thanks that you are rightfully receiving for your leadership and for your support of this effort. This truly is, as the Senator said, I think, a historic day, another historic day a year later for Central New York and our community. For us at Syracuse University, this means it's time for us to roll up our sleeves and do the work. And specifically, that means expanding our College of Engineering. That means entering into partnerships like we recently did with my friend Warren Hilton and Onondaga County Community College just recently in the form of a sweeping articulation agreement such that students at OCC can turn their 2-year degrees into 4-year degrees at Syracuse University. That means leveraging Syracuse University's Daniello Institute for Veterans and Military Families in partnership with our friends at Micron, such that our veterans, military spouses, and service members can transition into jobs in the semiconductor manufacturing space. So it is an exciting time. Our commitment, Syracuse University's commitment, is to be a partner and a collaborator in our community's tech hub journey in the many years to come. So, Senator, again, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sanjay, thank you.
Okay. There are a lot of people, victory has 1,000 fathers. And there are a lot of people you can say it wouldn't have happened without. Ryan McMahon is one of them, because he had the foresight to clear a shovel-ready site in Clay before anybody thought anyone would come. Him and me, I guess, were the two who thought we'd get people. But he had to do that. There was some opposition to doing it, but he knew it would be good for the future. Here we are. A great county executive.
I want to thank Eric. I want to thank the Saab team for coming out today and reflect. And it's been a year since the announcement, right? The announcement that Micron is coming to Syracuse, our anchor tenant, right? Our anchor tenant for our community, but all of New York State. The largest investment in the history of the United States being done by the greatest memory technology company in the world. And with that announcement, with that momentum, with all the hard work going forward, the partnerships that were established to help that site attraction effort, that attraction in New York, the attraction to the United States, that team now had something else to do and come together at the urging of Senator Schumer as not just Central New York, but really all of upstate New York for the New York Smart Corridor. And it wasn't just government, and it wasn't just the business community and higher eds. There's companies here. Saab is here. TTM is here. Other companies that do significant things for our community and significant things for this country are all part of this moving forward. So it's really about partnerships, and it's about leadership. And it's about the leadership that you all are taking in your own spaces, in higher ed, in manufacturing, in the semiconductor industry, to bring that back here. But I do have to highlight specifically the leadership of Senator Schumer. The reality is this, and the proof is just in the pudding, that without Senator Schumer, the CHIPS Act does not happen. And when you look at the CHIPS Act happening and being signed into law by the president, without Senator Schumer, Central New York does not become the greatest benefactor of that legislation. And we are. We are because the greatest memory technology company in the world is here making the largest investment among its peers in Onondaga County. We are now today because we are designated as a tech hub corridor for the future, and millions of dollars of consistent support will come so that we can take advantage of this opportunity, this Erie Canal moment for all of us. Senator, you did that. That's your legacy. Thank you.
And it is true. He mentioned my legacy. For many of you may not know this. My dad grew up in Utica, New York. As the town was declining, my grandpa worked in the paper mills, and they had to leave. And so I knew, I felt, I wanted it to be my legacy, and we're still on the road, but I wanted it to be my legacy that upstate New York would restore to the good old days where they were one of the centers of manufacturing and of good paying jobs and of research and of technology in the country, and we're on our way. Last speaker is someone who's done a great job as mayor. I worked closely with his father when his father was congressman. I worked as closely with Ben, who really cares about the city in a very nonpartisan and independent way. Ben.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you to all of our partners up here. Now, I'm just going to build on what the Senator was just talking about. Sometimes you have to look to the past to find your way to the future. And when you look at the past of New York State, specifically upstate, and the three communities that are part of this tech hub designation, we have a proud history of manufacturing in our community. It's what built our communities. But the painful reality is that for many years, including in recent decades, we lost a lot in our communities. We lost jobs. We lost population. We lost employers. But we never lost hope. And we never lost many of the people that are in this room today. The workers with the subject matter expertise and the institutional knowledge that led to the creation of new businesses, like Census, now Saab Census, like Syracuse Research Corporation, like TTM more recently. These are the investments that have given us hope throughout some very difficult years. And while many of us felt the tide turning and felt that progress coming back, it really wasn't until Sanjay and his team at Micron came and said, you know what, you are onto something here. We see what's happening in this community, and we want to be a part of it. We want to invest in it. And so thanks to Senator Schumer, thanks to Sanjay and Micron, thanks to the workers and the business owners and the community members that are in this room and throughout this community, we have hope and we have excitement for our future. And just when we were ready to declare victory and say to our upstate partners, Rochester, Buffalo, it's okay, just keep at it. We're going to be fine. Senator Schumer, again, looking around that corner, said, no, we're not done. This can't be a win-or-lose mentality among upstate New York and New York State. We can't afford to work against each other in upstate New York. We are on a global stage. And so rather than competing against each other, the senator, in his infinite wisdom, said, Syracuse, Rochester, Buffalo, get in a room and figure it out. Because we are on a global stage and we need to compete globally. And you have assets that are not fully leveraged until they're brought together. And while some of us may have been a little skeptical, a little sensitive, feeling out those relationships, ultimately we did come to the table. And guess what we figured out? We had a whole lot more in common than we didn't. And we brought a whole lot more to the table together than we did separately. That's why we stand here today as a tech hub in the United States of America, and that's why we are going to be successful long into the future. Thank you all so much. God bless you all, and thank you again, Senator Schumer.
Okay, we're going to have to hurry. We have two tech hubs in New York. One, the biggest one, obviously, is the semiconductor superhighway, I-90. But they declared Binghamton a second one. Binghamton, at Binghamton University, is a man who won the Nobel Prize. He's an Englishman named Whittingham, who developed a lithium-ion battery. And we hope to make Binghamton a center of making lithium-ion batteries. So I've been in Buffalo, Rochester, now Syracuse. I have to go down to Binghamton. So that's why we'll just take a few questions on this topic.
Senator, you know
Mr. Andrew.
You know the internal character we speak to and communicate. We stay in Liverpool, right? How do you take this high academic, high engineering concept and explain it to someone, to the working, the mom of Central New York?
Lucy,
how will this benefit them?
Lucy, I'd say if you have kids, the likelihood of them getting a really good paying job and probably making more money than you do is right here. And I'd say, Lucy, if your husband or you are in a business, that's going to grow. Whether it's a supermarket or a restaurant or a dry goods store, there's going to be more money around here. So it's going to grow. So, Lucy, this is going to be good for you in a whole lot of ways.
Specific projects that you're going to pitch, or at least some kind of idea of what you're going to ask?
Well, I'm going to leave it to the group to get together. They asked for. What happens is the next thing is there's an application as to here's what we'd use the money for. And they have a lot of good uses. We've discussed them. I'll leave it to them to make that public when the application is actually filed. Just to repeat, we're now a tech hub, period. Next comes the money part, and we are hoping to get as much as $75 million in the first stage and then much more later. But they have to apply and say, here's why we need the $75 million.
Senator Schumer, you said that even if this hub doesn't make the short list, the designation stays forever. Correct. So what do we get even if we don't get on that
More
fight?
businesses are, look, with Micron here and with so many others, more businesses are going to come here. Now that the federal government has said this is a good place to locate a tech business, it's going to make a big difference. We'll get many more businesses come locate here, and other federal government agencies encouraging them to come and helping them come here. So it's going to be good no matter what, but obviously we want the money, and I'm working very hard to get it, and I would call myself very optimistic that we will.
Is there a due date for that next application?
The application is due around Christmas time, I think, and then the announcements are made in the late winter, early spring. They're not messing around here. They're moving fast. They want to be careful, obviously. That's why there are several stages. They don't want any mess-ups, but they're moving fast. Okay, thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.
Okay, so is he going to stay up at the podium and we're going to get closer?